Hey everyone, I am Justin, and that is Kyle, and we are the Fantasy Football Upside. Today, we're doing our first half-point PPR mock draft of the season.
Woo-woo. Again, I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Why is the woo-woo?
I don't know.
Stop.
We hit our bust and sleepers last week, so make sure you check that out above and below in the description. So, we want to help you win your lead this year. And that starts with the draft, hence another mock draft, and this one a half-point PPR. So we're spending the rest of the summer preparing you to dominate and win your draft to win your league. So if this is what the information you're looking for, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit subscribe. Hit that thumbs up as well. Hit the bell.
Yeah.
Hit them all. Leave a comment. If we're going too fast, too slow, if you have a question, anything, leave a comment. We'll help you out. And, hey, we might give you a shout-out on here.
Yeah.
Kyle, what do you got?
Okay. So first thing, we are going to. I think we're going to be doing mock drafts all week this week. Actually, it's midsummer mock, right? We're going to do mocks all week. It looks like we've got one loaded up here, ready to come to you. I think shortly with Justin by himself, actually, and we might do a couple extra that way this week, and do a couple extra where it's both of us. Like you said, today we're doing a half-point PPR. And we're both going to pick our own picks. At some point, we might do joint picking, that sort of stuff, just all kinds of fun, different things like that. We're putting a lot of content together for you. We've been doing it for a while now, and I hope that you guys are enjoying it. You can watch us on YouTube. You can catch us on anywhere that you can download a podcast.
Yeah.
And keep your eyes out there for the Victory Draft Kit that's going to be coming here shortly. And it'll be just in time for fantasy football draft season, which – keep your fingers crossed that we still have a football season. Like now, they're already starting to eliminate stuff. They've cut down 2 of the preseason games at this point. So hopefully it's not much more. And we'll see what's going to go on with that. But let's go ahead and dive right into this draft here. Like I said before, 12-team half-point PPR mock. Mm-hmm. We've got 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, kicker, and defense. We might drop out the kicker and defense on the edit of this here.
Right. We always pick those 2 last anyway, so make it a little quicker for you guys.
All right. Looks like I got the 2nd slot here. You got the 6th. All right.
Oh, okay. We keep mixing it up. It's been really good on the random.
Yeah. I mean, we've gotten 2nd a couple times, it looks like. So, all right. I'm on the clock. Oh, no, Christian McCaffrey's already gone. Surprise, surprise, right?
Surprise.
I mean, I like Saquon. He's not going to get as many, obviously, catches as Christian McCaffrey.
Well,
Christian McCaffrey is 1 overall in all of that, right? So I like Alvin Kamara for pass catching as well here, and Michael Thomas comes up the board for me a lot here. But I'm going to go with Saquon. The reliability and what you're going to get out of him this year, I think he's a solid pick. I think
you don't want to go Ezekiel Elliott?
I do not. We were joking about that earlier. Somebody was giving me grief on Twitter about calling Zeke a bust. Now, for those of you who are paying attention, I'm saying Zeke's not going to present the value that he's being drafted for.
Right.
Not saying he's going to completely bust, not even finish as a draftable player. That's not what I'm saying, right?
No.
But they were giving me grief saying that he's going to be 1st overall because they think Mike McCarthy's going to suddenly decide to start having the running back catch passes. And the justification was that he'd never had anybody like Zeke. And I'm like, but didn't Aaron Jones catch a lot of passes and was RB2 in PPR
last year? Yeah,
last year.
Let's see where he goes right here.
All right. Well, I'm going to take Saquon. I bet you that Zeke goes 4th is what I'm guessing.
That's what I was going to guess. Oh, he went 3rd. Imagine that.
3rd. Wow. Very uncreative. Well, you know what? I'm a little surprised that Michael Thomas went right behind Kamara. I would have thought that Thomas would have creeped ahead. So what do you like here?
So something pretty cool with Fantasy Pros is you can create your own little cheat sheet, and I went ahead and did that for our half-point PPR. Went off my standard scoring and kind of just adjusted on those running backs that catch a little bit more, or wide receivers that are more target and catch volume than maybe yards and touchdowns. So, but the top one I have on my list is Dalvin Cook. Now
Yeah,
we all know about what could happen when it comes to the contract situation, but we mentioned it before in a podcast or an episode. They've the Vikings have gone up to the season and went ahead and signed someone before the season started.
yeah,
It's happened before. I think it's been
yeah, right
Thielen
up to
and
the
then
end.
right up to the end. It happens, and this guy's going to get paid, in my opinion. I mean, yes, running backs do grow on trees at times, but not one at this kind of caliber of a running back.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
and
he makes their offense go, and
well,
that's
that offense is built for him too. It
yeah,
really is. The run game is built around his style of running. I
yep,
mean, Madison slots right in nicely, but
yeah,
he's only effective because Dalvin Cook is so effective, in my opinion.
yep,
So, all right, let me pull up the draft board here. I'm going to rip off the names while we wait for your pick.
yes.
All right, so coming after Dalvin Cook, we had Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Miles Sanders at the 11th pick of the first round, Nick Chubb going 12th pick right behind him, Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, Josh Jacobs, Chris Godwin, Kenyon Drake, and George Kittle is the first tight end off the board in the middle of the second round, right
Yeah.
before Justin would have had the chance to take his undying love interest,
Oh,
George Kittle.
once again, we don't have time.
Yeah.
We don't have time, Kyle.
No, there's no time.
So,
All right. So I just wanted to point out here, Tyreek Hill went third wide receiver. Tyreek
wow.
Hill in a PPR of any kind as the third wide receiver is a little bit goofy to me
Yeah.
because he's not a high volume catcher. He's a high volume yardage monster.
Yeah.
There will be games where he has 3 catches, 2 touchdowns, and 80 yards. Like that's how he operates, right? I would have put both DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, and I'm maybe even Chris Godwin ahead of him in a PPR situation.
Yeah.
So, all right, what do you got for me? Second pick.
Yeah, second pick. I'm looking at running back again. Austin Eckler or Aaron Jones are my decisions. I'm going to go with Aaron Jones just based off volume. I like Austin Eckler in a half point or full point PPR, of course, but I'm still worried about what that QB situation is going to be because he's really determined on catching balls. He does run it, of course, but he's very determined on that. And I think Aaron Jones is still going to get a lot of work. I know you believe in Aaron Jones as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think as the 7th pick in the second round, that's pretty good value. So after my Aaron Jones pick, we had Chris Carson, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. I didn't notice. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, so Kittle went before Travis Kelce. Interesting.
Yeah.
So
you know what?
You still have a good amount left here.
I have him ahead of Kelce in pretty much anything, honestly, right now, in any style. And the reason I do is because Kelce's schedule is more difficult than Kittle's schedule. Like we're talking opposite extremes there. All right. So, I'm not a huge fan of Eckler. I know he put up a great year last year, but the situation that he's facing this year is a little bit scarier.
Yep.
As far as the Eclair here, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I don't know what to believe out of that. I don't believe second round pick out of that. I do like Leonard Fournette a little bit because I think he's a big volume guy.
Volume.
The issue is not like enough catches for me, and where I'm
seconds.
going here is Todd Gurley. I think they're going to throw the lights out, and I think that Todd Gurley is going to be one of the beneficiaries. I did like some of the wide receivers that were sitting there.
Yeah.
But I figured it's going to come back around, and look who's right there. Now I've got 2 volume guys to choose between, right?
Yeah. So after Todd Gurley is Mike Evans, and then the Eclair went after them. Just to recap for you real quick.
Look right now, it's for me, it's between Galladay and Robinson easily here. Allen Robinson is a huge volume guy. I love the way my roster's looking right now, actually.
Yeah.
I love who I've got sitting there. Saquon and Todd Gurley. That's phenomenal, I think.
That's a nice little 1-2 punch.
Yeah. This year, I like Robinson. I like his scenario. I like if Foles is his QB. I really like Robinson.
Right.
But I know exactly who the QB is for Galladay. I know exactly what his targets are going to be probably. And I know that he's going to be the wide receiver 1 on that team, and he's going to score a lot of TDs.
They
He's going to
should
catch some
be.
big pass
Yeah, his
plays.
targets should go up this year. I
Yeah,
mean,
I do. I fully believe that. Yeah. And you
Yeah.
know what? He only experienced a little bit of a drop because they had Stafford out, right?
Yeah.
But he still killed it.
Mhm.
Like half the season without Stafford, he still killed it. So that's
He
where I'm going.
was.
I'm going Galladay here.
What was he? He finished like top 5 wide receivers, and yet he got like the 26th best targets. I mean,
Now look
come
at
on.
that. A-Rob just fell to you, dude.
I know. That's what I was
I mean,
hoping for.
that's
I was going to
just
mention that.
that is beautiful. So
Yeah. I
so
mean,
let me catch up
Austin
here.
Eckler is still available.
That's a little bit crazy. So
Yeah.
the only caution I would give you is that in a half point PPR, you're going running back, running back, running back. Now
Exactly. That's
all three are like
yeah.
passing, receiving running backs, right?
Yeah.
But let's see here. We've got Lamar Jackson went right after Galladay. And then we got Juju Smith-Schuster and DJ Moore. Now,
Mhm.
I think DJ Moore should have gone up there a little bit higher. I'm a little surprised to see Mike Evans like where he went, which is at the back of the second round. That's just blowing my mind.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I'm actually really surprised that DJ Moore and Juju Smith-Schuster went before Allen Robinson though. Still, I mean, this guy he got 154 targets last year, and he caught 98 balls. I think that catch percentage is going to go up.
Well, think about who was throwing the darn ball to him, right?
Exactly. That's why I think
it's like
the catch
I think he
percentage is going to
caught
go up
every.
if
I
Nick
think
Foles is the QB.
I think he caught every catchable pass that was thrown at him, right? The other 60 passes that he didn't catch just weren't catchable balls.
Right, exactly. So I like Adam Thielen as well, but I do have Allen Robinson ranked 1 ahead of Adam Thielen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, let's see who goes off the board here. All right, we just lost after A-Rob. Finally, Eckler finds his home. That was like the Aaron Rodgers fall right there, wasn't it?
mhm.
Odell Beckham and then Leonard Fournette. I would have taken Fournette ahead of Beckham. Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper. So we go Cooper, Adam Thielen, Melvin Gordon, Stephon Diggs, Robert Woods, who is a guy in a half point PPR you should be looking at heavily. And I think there's an argument to be made that he goes ahead of Cooper Kupp in PPR and half PPR. Le'Veon Bell goes next. Mark Andrews, followed by Keenan Allen. There you go. Look, someone else made the Keenan Allen mistake, so you don't have to in the 4th round. What do you got for me here?
He made our bust episode, so I'm sure we'll have the description below. So check that out.
Yeah.
So here, still a lot of wide receivers available.
Yeah,
in my
some
opinion,
really good ones there.
My
man.
top 3 wide receivers that are available are Calvin Ridley, T.Y. Hilton, A.J. Brown. And that's mine, based off my cheat sheet. Looking at, this is a half point PPR. A.J. Brown, I'm a little worried about the entire volume that he's going to get when it comes to the actual catches.
I think it's going to
because they're just not going to throw as much compared to someone like a Calvin Ridley, even though he's the second wide receiver on that team because it's still the Julio Jones show. We've talked about this before. Matt Ryan might throw 700 freaking times this year. So I'm actually going to
he's going to throw more.
I think he's going
to throw more. He's going to, yeah. I like Calvin Ridley. If you weren't taking him here, I am. All right, who went off? AJ Brown, man. That was the
Jonathan
other one.
Taylor after your Calvin Ridley, or after my Calvin Ridley pick. AJ Brown, James Conner. So you're up, and just
all right. I'm a little stuck
on why I didn't choose Ty is just because he's coming back from injury. I really like Ty this year. I think we both do, just because of what Phillip Rivers can do if he targets in on one wide receiver. And I'm looking for a bounce back for Ty. Homer.
Yeah. You said Ty is still on the board. I'm not. You know what? He's on the board in your rankings up at this point. For me,
he's probably not for you.
For me, he's still a reach.
No,
I do like him better than a few of these guys that are sitting here.
I know where you're going.
I think he's less of a reach. Well, I'm between two guys here. The running back situation. I would have considered Connor here. I do kind of like David Johnson a little bit here, but I can't rely on or know what his pass volume is going to be. It's not a terrible spot to get him here, but I would still like to grab some guys who can catch out of the backfield. And I see a few down the board that I'd prefer over him. But you do know where I'm going here. I'm fading Cortland Sutton, passing on him. And for me, it's between Tyler Lockett and Devontae Parker. And one's a pass first offense and the other one is a run first offense. I do like DJ Chark a little bit, but it's a
Yeah.
little too far down the board for me. Instead, it's Devontae Parker because that offense is going to pass a lot. So, all right, Zach
All
Ertz
right.
goes off the board. Cortland Sutton goes next. Look at
Yep.
that. Tyler Lockett's there if I want him still.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty darn solid, starting lineup for me there if I grab him. As far as running backs, I'm still looking at it and saying I think my third guy is a little further down the board. Probably there's 2 or 3 guys in this screen that I can see right now that I like, and I'm willing to take any one of them as my third. Whereas wide receiver, I do like Tyler Lockett a lot. I think he's going to catch a whole heck of a lot this year.
Yeah.
If I wanted to reach for a tight end here, because we are in a passing, a reception premium league, I could. Tight end could move a little up my board here. We're 5th pick, so that could creep in
Yeah,
at
5th
this
round.
point. But there's guys who are going to get tons of volume out there on tight ends, so I can move on. I think that I'm going to go ahead and get Tyler Lockett here. I do like Ty, and I think that out of the guys who are sitting here, it's between, for me, Tyler Lockett and T.Y. Hilton. And I just like Tyler Lockett because he's going to get a lot of deep stuff, a lot of good deep passes.
He's still the number one wide receiver on that team.
Yeah. And I got to say, I'm supremely happy with the way my roster is shaking out right now.
Yeah, you got a pretty good roster.
All right, let me get caught up here for you. DJ Chark is gone, Mark Ingram is gone, and Terry McLaurin is gone. So here we go for your 5th pick. Right now, you're sitting with Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Allen Robinson, Calvin Ridley. You got a good balance, and you've got a lot of pass volume, man.
Yeah, and then so what I'm looking at now is I'm just looking at the best value based off my board, and my next 3, I have actually Ty ranked as my 35th best player this season. I know that's a lot.
35th overall?
Yeah, 35th overall, and we're looking at number 54 overall. I also have David Johnson as my 38th overall, and we're looking at 54 overall. But it's just too good for me to pass up T.Y. Hilton right now. His strength of schedule says number 3. I think he's going to get the volume. They're still going to want to pass it. They're going to, they're going to run the ball as well. But we all know what Phillip Rivers loves to do. He loves to throw the dang ball.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I like, truthfully though, on my wide receivers, it's down a little bit until I get to Jarvis Landry as my next best wide receiver, and I think it's hard to pass up T.Y. Hilton as your wide receiver 3 in a 12-team league.
Yeah. Well, especially because he's going to get a lot of the volume.
Yeah.
All right, so let's watch goes off board here. We've got Marquise Brown, Deontay Johnson. Wow, 5th round. He ran up there. David Johnson, Devin Singletary, DK Metcalf, Raheem Mostert finally goes off the board. Dak Prescott, David Montgomery, Deebo Samuel, Darren Waller is the 4th tight end off the board here. Russell Wilson, and then Cam Akers in the 6th round.
Wow.
So
I was kind of hoping David Montgomery, just to give you a backstory, I was kind of hoping he would fall just based off volume. He doesn't catch the ball a whole lot, but he still gets a ton of volume at the running back position.
Yeah. But
and being able to throw him in as your flex, that would be great.
Which guy did you? Oh, Montgomery. Yeah. My issue with him is going to be that I don't know what that offense is ultimately going to do. Like, I don't know where they're going. I really don't.
But right here, still, once again, half point PPR. Based off of suggestions here, it says Jarvis Landry should be my pick. I also have Kareem Hunt up here. I have DeAndre Swift up here. I even have Ronald Jones up here based off my rankings and based off some of the suggestions that Fantasy Pros is saying. I usually like to put running back in my slot, or my flex, I should say, but it's one of those things where you go with what's dealt to you here. Mm-hmm. And I actually still like Jarvis Landry this year. I mean, when it comes to catching the ball and the amount of receptions this guy could still get, he might not average more than 11 yards per catch, but if he's going to give you 8 catches a game.
Yeah. I mean, he's always been a volume hog. All right, off the board goes Jarvis Landry, followed by A.J. Green, Hunter Henry, Julian Edelman in the 6th. That, to me...
That just makes my Jarvis Landry pick look that much sweeter.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Edelman's always been a big volume guy, but in the same vein that Cole Beasley has, right? Like, you're getting volume, but at the at the loss of yardage, really.
Yeah.
And without Tom Brady reading defenses for him, I don't trust that. All right, so sitting
Right.
right now, I've got Saquon Barkley, Todd Gurley, Kenny Galladay, Devontae Parker, Tyler Lockett. I am still sitting running back, wide receiver probably here. I'm taking a peek at tight end value and what's come off the board. I am looking further down
Yeah.
than that. I'm not going to go in that direction right now. Let's see what Fantasy Pros is telling me to do. They're telling me to take Kyler Murray in the 6th round here. I am not taking Kyler Murray in the 6th round. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go with the guy who I think is going to eat probably 30% of the carries this year, at least, along with the pass work, and that is Kareem Hunt. I think there's an argument to be made that he might actually outdo Chubb this year.
So after Kareem Hunt, this is probably a guy you wanted to drop to you here, Marvin Jones with this next pick, but he went right before you, and then Will Fuller. So the 2nd pick of the 7th round is to you.
All right. Like I said, I'm still sitting on tight end. I'm not reaching there. But
I'm really surprised here. We're in the 7th round right now, and Kyler Murray is still on the board. And that, I mean, we talk about pushing QBs down as long as possible, but still having Kyler Murray here in the 7th round, I think that's our 3rd best QB based off our composite rankings.
On our composite, yeah, I would say. Yeah. But I think that, I haven't had a chance to rework the QB rankings since we ran through that. And my attitude about, I've reworked our, running backs and wide receivers and tight ends and QBs. My attitude is I think actually I'm going to probably pop Dak ahead of Kyler. And so Kyler's probably going to end up my 4th for right now. And Dak will be my 3rd, I'm thinking. It's a high volume offense though. It's really tough. And 7th round, that would be great. But I'm still looking. And for me, it's between 2 guys, maybe 3. I kind of like the idea of Brandon Cooks if he steps right into the DeAndre Hopkins role, but I don't think Brandon Cooks is really DeAndre Hopkins. I do like Kirk and I like Gallup. I think that there are big things coming for Kirk. I'm just not sure that it's this year. Whereas I do know that Michael Gallup is getting the volume already. So that's where I'm going.
Yep.
All right, off the board, we lose. Let's see. We've got Tyler Boyd goes off, DeAndre Swift, and then Kyler Murray, middle of the 7th round. You jinxed it. You talked about him, and
that's all right.
But you have. Come on. In the 7th round, you have a guy in a pass volume offense, right? Christian Kirk. And you have another guy in an offense where the QB has a gun for an arm and always focuses on one guy who makes it down the field. And that's Brandon Cooks looking from Watson,
I don't have that.
You don't have either of them up there?
Well, I got Brandon Cooks as my 85th best player right now. So based off my board, I actually have Ronald Jones as my best player available, then Deshaun Watson, and then actually Jordan Howard.
Well, what I will say is there are right now on Fantasy Pros, they've got 6 running backs ahead of where you've got Rojo.
That's fine.
Yep.
Let them. We've talked about this as a sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, Bruce Arians, he may not trust that rookie running back. I mean, it's proven. David Johnson was a rookie back in 2015. He didn't get any work till week 12. Yeah. And I just don't think actually Tommy's going to come back and he wants to play with Tampa Bay and get wrecked by a rookie back there that doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yes, Keyshawn Vaughn's coming in with some high praise, but I still think
Fantasy
Rojo
Pros
is
has
better.
Fantasy Pros has one of the 6 guys that's ahead of Rojo is Keyshawn Vaughn.
See,
that's one of the guys they have there. Yeah.
Go for it.
Make that mistake. Go for it, guys.
Go for it.
All right. So falling off the board after Ronald Jones, the 3rd, right? Or is he the 2nd? Is Deshaun Watson, Jamison Crowder, CeeDee Lamb goes in the 7th, Evan Ingram, Josh Allen, Brandon Cooks at the back of the 7th round, making the turn to James White, John Brown, Aaron Rodgers ahead of Carson Wentz, who's next, J.K. Dobbins, and then Emmanuel Sanders from New Orleans as a wide receiver 2 and an offense that's going to throw.
So what I'm looking at here, I'm going to just go back to my roster real quick. At running back, I have Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, and Ronald Jones. I like the Jones brothers. Wide receiver, I have Allen Robinson, Calvin Ridley, T.Y. Hilton, and Jarvis Landry. I like those wide receivers, that's for sure. So I'm actually still probably looking at running back here because I'm worried if I keep if we keep passing on more running backs, I think that
Hmm.
depth is really going to be gone here shortly.
Sure.
Um, I like both actually, Jordan Howard and Darius Geis. And for reasons why is just, volume possibilities. They both kind of scare me in certain other possibilities, but
Hmm. Hmm.
they're slotted in as RB1s on their team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not really much to scare you away from that when it comes to their potential.
Yeah.
When it comes to getting volume, it's just for Darius Geis, it's injury. For Jordan Howard, does he catch the ball enough? But I actually am going to go with Jordan Howard. He showed that he can catch the ball in Chicago his first year, and then they just decided to stop. You just need another change of scenery.
Yeah. All right. So after Jordan Howard is Sony Michel, Darius Slayton, Darius Geis.
Yep.
Back-to-back Dariuses. I would have probably been really interested in Darius Geis right here,
Yeah.
if he hadn't just gone off the board, right?
Yeah.
Um,
That was a tough decision between those two,
yeah,
because I do like Darius Geis. It's just, man, he just can't stay healthy. I mean, he made our sleeper, or I don't know if it was a sleeper episode or just one to kind of look at, one to target.
yeah,
It's just the talent is there,
yeah. He's just got to
but
stay
man,
healthy. Yeah.
yeah. And whenever it comes to depth right now,
I don't know how many knees he has, right?
point,
2? He's got 2?
yeah,
Like right now, for me, where I'm sitting, I could look at Philip Lindsay or somebody like that.
yeah.
He's the guy who's going to be catching a lot of stuff for them, but I'm sorry, like, why the heck is Christian Kirk still available to me?
I don't think
um,
I have Christian Kirk, man.
yeah,
I think it's just the fact that it's DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, and Larry Fitzgerald. Even though
yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald's old as hell, he still is somewhat relevant
I,
in
I I know
fantasy.
there's a lot of noise around Deontay Johnson now in the fantasy football community,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of pushback. I love Deontay Johnson. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of pushback saying it's Kirk's year.
Yeah. So after
All right.
Kirk was Drew
Yeah.
Brees, Marlon Mack. So we were at the beginning of round 9. You were the second pick.
All right. So at this point, I'm going to start looking if I want to expand the range of pickable like targets or
Right.
characters or players. I'm sitting right now with Saquon Barkley, Todd Gurley, and Kareem Hunt as my running backs. Wide receivers, I'm Kenny Galladay, Tyler Lockett, Devontae Parker, Michael Gallup, and Christian Kirk. I'm nearly set at right wide receiver where I think I'm good. I want to get more running backs on my team if I
Yeah.
can here. But at the same point, I'm also starting to look at my tight end, and I'm starting to look at QB. The tight end situation, I might sit on a little bit longer. Higbee's sitting there. He's pretty solid. Um, Gronkowski's going to get some decent stuff, but not a lot of volume. Hayden Hurst, I think, is going to get a heck of a lot of volume. And in a PPR, that's where I'm leaning if I'm going
Yeah.
that direction. I could look here and try to stack with Matt Ryan. And if I hadn't taken Kirk, I would have wanted to maybe consider a stack here. But what I think I'm going to do is I want a running back right here, and I think I'm going to take that flyer on Keshawn Vaughn right now. And yeah, it is a little bit crazy, but it's where I want to go. I think I've got some good top end talent, and if Ronald Jones somehow doesn't pan out, I've got a running back 1.
There you go. So
All
yeah,
right,
after
off the
that
board we
was
lose
yeah,
Henry
go ahead.
Ruggs, Sterling Shepard, Jerry Judy.
Yep. So real quick, my roster, I have Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, then Jordan Howard, Ronald Jones as my running backs, Allen Robinson, Calvin Ridley, T.Y. Hilton, and Jarvis Landry. So I still have a tight end slot open. I have QB open. And then one of the top things on my list or suggestions right now, I mean, we're at 6th pick in the 9th round. I do like Tyler Higbee. Now, not everybody does. Some people think it's a flash in the pan. All things considered, they still are coming out saying that they want to run that 12 personnel still.
Yeah.
And they ran that 12 personnel. This guy was a stud.
Yeah.
I think
but
they're
I
going
don't
to
think
continue.
my concern is that when they ran 12 personnel, it wasn't with Gerald Everett on the field.
He was still on the field for most of those games. He was.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We're at the 9th round, and I think a guy that could finish as a top easily a top 10 tight end,
Mhm.
could be even better. The production that he provided in those games can't be ignored. That's the thing. It just can't
Mhm.
be ignored. And so after that, I think it's still back to me. You want to read those off to
Yeah, it
me?
should be to you here. We've got coming off the board after Tyler Higbee. We lose Deshaun Jackson. San Francisco's defense goes off the board in the 9th round. First defense off the board. Kerryon Johnson, Philip Lindsay, Devonta Freeman, free agent Devonta Freeman, ahead of Damian Williams, running back 1 for Kansas City. Austin Hooper, Mike Williams, Matt Breida, Preston Williams, Alshon Jeffrey, and then Anthony Miller, who
Yeah.
would have been somebody I would have considered if I didn't feel light at running back right now.
Yeah, I would have considered if I didn't have Allen Robinson on my team, but
Oh, yeah.
we preach about this when it comes to QBs. The value is so high. Like you can get
It's
really good
deep.
QBs.
It's really
It's
deep.
deep.
Yeah.
And right now, Matt Ryan is still available in the 10th round. And guess what? I
Mhm.
have Calvin Ridley as my wide receiver. I would
Yeah.
love to double up some of those points.
Yeah, stacking right here, I think, is a phenomenal move for you. And that was kind of what I was thinking. If I hadn't taken Kirk, I would have considered taking Hayden Hurst and stacking Matt Ryan on.
Yep. Well, I'm going to
Um,
go ahead and snake Matt Ryan here. We'll
yeah.
just keep it moving.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. So after my Matt Ryan pick, we had Mecole Hardman, AJ Dillon, Justin Jefferson, and then you are 11th pick in the 10th round.
All right. So I'm going to do some things that are going to piss fantasy pros off here, guys. Okay. Because right now I'm going to make what they believe are 2 reaches, but I think are solid moves. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm looking tight end and QB. I do want Hayden Hurst, but I've got several guys at tight end that I'm happy to take. Okay.
Hold
So
on,
if
let me look
Hayden
for
Hurst
it.
goes off in the turn here while I'm sitting waiting to make my second turn,
Yeah.
not the end of the world for me, right? But especially what I want to try to do here is my wide receiver 1 is Kenny Golladay. And so where I'm going with this is I do want to grab that stack, and this is the last QB on the board. I've pushed it. This is the last QB on the board that I'm targeting. If I have to take somebody else, I'm comfortable grabbing someone else and I
Right.
making it work. This is the last guy I want. And so I'm going to go ahead and take him here, and I'm going to hope Hayden Hurst falls to me. So I'm taking him right now. And then we've got coming off the board, Tevin Coleman, Golden Tate, and then Hayden Hurst. Now I know that's the guy I want. I know he's going to have a high volume pass opportunity. Mike Gesicki is somebody else you should consider here. Jonnu Smith as well. I think Jonnu Smith's targeting is going to be a little bit lower. Gesicki's going to have a good amount of targets. He's one of 3 guys worth throwing to in that offense.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't reach for him here. And I already have Devontae Parker, so I'm not going with Gesicki there. What I want is Hayden Hurst. But I do want to jump over and just check out the running back situation, make sure I'm not making a mistake and missing out on somebody. And no, there's some pass catching running backs who I think have high volume opportunities still available, who I think will still be there if Justin doesn't try to snake me. But here in the 11th, yeah, we shall see. Here in the 11th round, I feel comfortable going ahead and taking Hayden Hurst. So it's an offense that's going to, like you said, Matt Ryan's going to throw the ball 700 times this year. A few of those, I'm guessing, are going to go towards Hayden Hurst. And man, you can't deny that guy's story. Like, there's some stuff. Like, get out there and read some stuff on him. It's pretty crazy. Like some of the things. All right. So what really makes me mad is one of the guys that I was going to sit on just went, Zach Moss. Yeah. Screw me. Right. And then Pittsburgh Steelers next, followed by Robbie Anderson. So one of those running backs that I was mentioning I would like to see come back around is already gone.
Yep. So for me here, I got quite a few options. Running back is actually quite a few options for me right now based off my little cheat sheet here, my little draft board.
Mm-hmm.
So, I already have a Chicago Bear on my roster with Allen Robinson, but Tariq Cohen, I mean, we're talking about a half-point PPR. Guy catches the ball. He caught 79 last year.
Yeah, and he had a lot of opportunity in that offense. And I think with Foles, it's going to be better, I think.
Yeah.
The one thing I know about that offense that I can predict if Foles or Trubisky are the QB is the pass volume to the wide receivers. I think that Nagy still wants to try to go to running backs, and I think only Foles is going to really provide that opportunity.
Yeah.
Truly, that's valuable.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go ahead and get Tariq Cohen. I do need to get some wide receiver depth in a hurry, but it just weren't there at the time. So
yeah, I think we're like both opposite sides here. Like I have tons of wide receiver depth, and you have tons of running back depth. All right, going off the board after Tariq Cohen was Darrell Henderson, followed by Sammy Watkins, Latavius Murray. Look at that, Sammy Watkins, wide receiver 2 in that offense. Alexander Madison, Antonio Brown, Jalen Reagor, Damon Gibson, free agent wide receiver, no idea. Joshua Kelly, Tom Brady finally, Rashad Perriman, Tony Pollard, Curtis Samuel, wide receiver 2 out of Carolina. So what do you got for me here?
So
you're trying to get a running back, right? Or a wide receiver, aren't you?
Yeah. I was actually hoping Curtis Samuel would get to me here. I do like Curtis Samuel as well this year, even though there's 3 wide receivers in Carolina. You're just not quite sure how that offense is going to look. But I have a guy here.
I see like 4 or 5 guys that you could take right now.
Well, one I'm not going to take just because I already have a Colts player.
Yeah.
Like, I can't take Michael Pittman Jr., which even though I would like
to. Or Paris Campbell.
Or Paris Campbell, correct. But here's the guy that made a sleeper for us, N'Keal Harry.
That's what I was
You saw that. Yeah, you saw that, and you're like, oh, yeah, he's going to pick N'Keal Harry.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a first-round pick last year. He was banged up, hamstring issue, came back, and he wasn't quite ready.
He's a first-round pick. He's a first-round pick for the Patriots, and he's wide receiver 2 at least on this offense. And you're getting him in the 12th round.
So after N'Keal Harry, it was T. Higgins, John Ross, Baltimore defense. So yeah, just look at the wide receivers that went after N'Keal Harry. T. Higgins, rookie, don't know. John Ross, will he make the roster? There's rumors out there he may not.
Yeah. All right. So look, one of the last running backs that I think has real value, that's not like a stash and wait kind of guy.
I know.
Yeah. You do know. I don't like Duke Johnson in that offense. And the reason is that he lost out to Carlos Hyde, and then they went and brought in a guy that they traded away DeAndre Hopkins for, and that is David Johnson. I think that Duke Johnson is going to get even less work than he got last year, which turned out to be not enough. The guy I like is Boston Scott. I have him getting roughly 30% of the carries and opportunities on this offense. And I think he's going to be a pass catching guy to some extent. Both he and Sanders are that kind of player. And Boston Scott is just somebody that I think people are not watching. They're just not paying attention. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take him and see what comes around on the turn. I'm going to check out my roster as well here. So I'm sitting right now with Matthew Stafford as my QB, Saquon Barkley, Todd Gurley, Kenny Galladay, Tyler Lockett, Devontae Parker, Hayden Hurst, Kareem Hunt, Michael Gallup, Keyshawn Vaughn, Christian Kirk, and Boston Scott. I've got 5 running backs, 5 wide receivers, I believe. So either way, I would like to get 6 of those each on my team. I'm not touching QB or tight end at this point. Those are done. I do like what's sitting here on both running back and wide receiver. If I'm picking for depth at running back, I like what's available to me, but I'm willing to let a lot of that go for a little bit here. And I think I've got pretty good choices at wide receiver right now. Let's see here. I've got Michael Pittman Jr., Alan Lazard, who a lot of people are predicting to be the wide receiver 2. I kind of want to see what happens in that camp. I mean, I don't have that luxury here picking at the, first week of July. I don't have the luxury of knowing whether or not he's getting wide receiver 2 reps. I want to see that happening. There's 3 or 4 guys who might beat him out for that. You got Devin Funchess right off the bat, right? They want the blocking wide receivers, and that's why Alan Lazard is going to be on the field a lot. But that's who I'm going to go with right now. I think that he's going to get some good volume still out of that offense. So that's where I'm going with it. You were wanting me to take Pittman so that you would, you could have Lazard. Yeah. Yep. All right. Off the board goes James Washington, Nyheim Hines, and Rob Gronkowski.
So come over to my roster here. It's amazing how far Rob Gronkowski's fell since he said he's going to come back. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like as soon as he started saying he was going to come back, it was way up there in the
yeah.
draft boards. But my roster: QB Matt Ryan. At my running back positions, I have Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Ronald Jones, Tariq Cohen, and Jordan Howard. At my wide receiver, Allen Robinson, Calvin Ridley, T.Y. Hilton, Jarvis Landry, and Nikhil Harry as well. So I'm still looking at some wide receiver here. Michael Pittman Jr. still available, but
Mm-hmm.
so is Hunter
But
Renfro.
yeah,
So is Larry Fitzgerald.
Hunter Renfro was one of the guys that I was kind of looking at. I mean, that
Hunter Renfro is the
offense.
guy. Yes, they brought in a couple more weapons here in the draft, but I mean, you can't be ignored what he did, especially towards the end of the season. Like he
Yeah,
put up some real numbers there towards the end of the season, and I just think he's almost like the security blanket
he's
for
what, like
Derek Carr.
he's like
He had
entering his
back-to-back
third
100-yard
year or
games.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, back-to-back 100-yard games to close out the season. That can't be ignored. I think Derek Carr likes to throw to him, and that guy, he just gets open. You know what I mean? Like he just knows how to get open.
yeah,
Oh, and I am back on the clock. Let's see.
yeah. Let's see what went off the board. We got Adrian Peterson, Michael Pittman finally goes, Daniel Jones, Buffalo Bills defense, Jared Cook, Mike Gesicki, Brandon Ayuk, Chase Edmonds, Larry Fitzgerald, Rashad Penny, Jamal Williams, Ben Roethlisberger.
Mm-hmm.
So Rashad Penny was one of the ones I was considering still at this point.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming back from injury, it's kind of curious to see what that looks like for
Yeah.
sure. So, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but I mean, back in the 14th round, that's for me, that's my last valuable pick, right?
Yeah.
And so,
And
yeah.
right here, you're taking educated guesses and flyers
Mhm.
and dartboard throw. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
taking a lot of chances here.
So,
And
what
that,
direction are you leaning? You looking wide receiver or are you looking running back?
well, how about a guy that does both and who knows could potentially be labeled as both in some leads, because who I'm talking about is Antonio Gibson
Yeah.
for the Redskins, or right now called the Redskins. He played wide receiver in college, but he also lined up in the backfield as well. So there's a couple different sources are labeling him as wide receiver, and a couple other ones labeling him as running back. So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe he could be that Jalen Samuels. You remember how he did that with, what was it, running back and tight end or something? Do you remember that a couple
Yeah.
ago?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
He came in as a tight end. He was labeled tight end.
Yeah. And
He
then they
wasn't even
put
a
running
joint
back on
option.
there as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So I just think Antonio Gibson is a guy that is very talented. I think they drafted him in the third round. Dang, the guy is 6 foot 225. They're going to try to get him the ball in a variety of different ways. So once
Yep.
again, round 14, let's take a flyer.
Yeah. All right. So going off the boards, Justin Jackson, LaVisca Chenault, who eventually might be great. Raquel Armstead goes next.
Back to back Jaguars.
Yeah. And Jaguar. All right. So I'm probably going to kind of upset you that you missed out on this guy, that you didn't see that he was there, but I'm going to take him. I want one more running back right now. And there's a guy in my mind who's going to
Anthony
get
McFarland.
all the pass work for running back probably, and that's down in Tennessee. That's Dorinton Evans.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's going to get a lot of pass work, and
Mhm.
that's where he's going to be used primarily. I think he's going to step into the Dion Lewis role by the end of the season. Dion Lewis kind of fell apart for them last year, and so the result was a higher volume for Derrick Henry, and that's the one thing that shies me away from Derrick Henry a little bit. So yeah. All right. What we're going to do is I'm going to take him, and then we're going to go ahead and close out. We're going to jump ahead right now to to just reviewing our rosters and checking out our grades. And you'll see that we just went ahead and grabbed defense and kicker in these last two rounds because that's what we do. All right. So we'll see you in just a bit. Yep. All right. So here we go. All right. So here we go, guys. Here's what we've got after doing all of that. Hey, I won one.
You won one. I was right. I was nipping at your toes a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're right there. But I'll tell you, I mean, that shook out wonderfully. I like the second. I do like the second draft slot for half PPR. I think that this season is
you
great.
started off with Saquon. Yeah, that's not a bad.
Well, I mean, you start off with Saquon, but then what came to me in the wide receiver area was just absolutely phenomenal. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
just
Yep.
great. I gave you the top grade of bench, but we are both over 210, and the closest is 187 in grade. I got second on starters, so I'm second and second there
Yeah.
on starters and bench. And it has you sixth on starters there, but we were 1-2 overall.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely. Here, let's go through your roster real quick one
sure,
more
let's
time.
drop over here. Let me pull it up.
Here, I'll
Team
do mine real
rosters.
quick. At QB, I have Matt Ryan. So my RB1 slot is Dalvin Cook. RB2 is Aaron Jones. I love that back to back right there.
Yeah.
My wide receiver.
Just so you know,
Yeah.
that's my team last year in our league.
Oh shoot, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I drafted Dalvin Cook in the first round, fifth pick,
Yeah.
and I had
And
Aaron Jones as a
is a
keeper.
keeper. Yeah.
My last
So
year, I get to keep him too coming up. So
so my starting wide receivers on here: Allen Robinson, Calvin Ridley, T.Y. Hilton, and my flex is Jarvis Landry on here. My tight ends: Tyler Higbee. Defense: Denver. Kicker: Will Lutz. Don't need to worry about that one. But so my bench, I have Jordan Howard, Ronald Jones, Tariq Cohen, and Antonio Gibson as my running backs on my bench. I have N'Keal Harry, Hunter Renfrow as my wide receivers. I like this because we're called the upside for a reason. And I think most of these guys have upside. That's the
I
thing.
think they especially have upside in when you're looking at a
Half
PPR
point for
situation.
yeah.
Half
Yep.
point, it's great. Yeah. So all right. So I have I'm surprised. A few of these things usually burn me. A few of
Yeah.
the picks that I made because the Fantasy Pros is like fading a few of the guys that I like and I think are due for big years. And one of those is Matthew Stafford right off the top for me. My RB1 is Saquon Barkley. RB2 is Todd Gurley. I think Gurley is in line for something here this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has my flex as Kareem Hunt as my third running back, and I think he's going to get a lot of pass work out of that offense.
Yep.
Wide receiver 1, I've got Kenny Galladay. Wide receiver 2, Tyler Lockett. Wide receiver 3, Devontae Parker. And I think that is a friggin' murderer's row of wide receivers, in my opinion. Those are all wide receiver 1s on their team. And I got 3 of them right there to go off the
Yep.
bat. Hayden Hurst is going to be a volume hog this year. Defense, I got the Rams, Tucker as my kicker. And then on my bench, I have Gallup and Christian Kirk and Alan Lazard as wide receivers. Running backs, I got Keshawn Vaughn and Boston Scott and Darrynton Evans. Those are all big upside guys potentially.
Yeah.
And right now, I like Ronald Jones. I think that he's the guy to own down in Tampa Bay, and I think we'll learn a lot more about that when it comes to camp time. Right?
Oh yeah.
We'll know a lot more about that, and I fully agree. I don't think Arians is going to put a rookie out there, especially with Tom Brady. So I lean the direction of Ronald Jones.
Yeah.
But you never know. And right now, I think it's worth taking the chance on Keshawn Vaughn right now. And then you have the upside of him potentially being a pass catching guy for them. But Ronald Jones catches passes too, guys. So
Yeah.
don't get too hot and heavy on Keshawn Vaughn. But I think Boston Scott's a great play here.
Absolutely.
Where I got him is just sick, in my opinion. And I think Darrynton Evans in PPR situations is a diamond in the rough right now.
Yeah.
So, what I'm really happy about is I don't have a single wide receiver on my team who is not a wide receiver 1 or 2 for his team.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I
Michael
did
Gallup
not.
as one of your first bench players is pretty darn phenomenal
pretty
in my opinion
yeah.
because I actually think he's the best wide receiver on that team.
I do too, actually. I think that ultimately he might shake out to be that way this year. And I love having Galladay and Gallup on the same team, dude.
Yeah.
That's sick. Those are 2 guys who
Those are
are
huge
the
high upside
future.
players.
Yeah, those are 2 guys that are like future top end talent wide receivers for this league. And if you're in a keeper league or something like that, grabbing Gallup as late as I did is just nothing but pure value going forward. Like that's just pretty sick. So yeah, that's where I ended up. I ended up with 95 out of 100 according
I
to
got
Fantasy Pros.
92 out of 100.
So we talk a little bit every once in a while about Fantasy Pros. We like what they've got. We like their setup. You can use all kinds of predictive analysis and everything during the draft. It's a lot of fun.
Yep.
We've done a couple other drafts, and if you want to catch any of those drafts, you can look. Those will be on the screen here for you. and you can click on any of those and you can check out what we've been putting up lately.
Yep.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for us. We thank you for joining us. Make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click the bell so that you get notified. We up
Give us a thumbs
every
up.
time. Yeah, give us a thumbs up. But make sure you click that bell so that you're notified every time that we upload the best fantasy football podcast on the internet. And we will catch you next time. And thank you for being a fan of the upside.
See ya.